Race 10 is the final event Saturday afternoon at Sha Tin, and it's a good contest, Class 3, 1400 metres. The Yun Long handicap, headed by Regency Bobo, who bombed the start last outing, but a terrific run in defeat. Cordyceps was the winner of that race. My Darling, King of Hearts, Charizard, returning after a blistering final 400 last season. Fenrir, Marzook, Precious Ship has trialled well. We go down to Defining Moment, Flying Victory, an interesting 4-year-old by Guillotine, who won a nice race 2 starts ago, and Great Treasure, the 8-year-old, ran well first up, went third behind Cool Team. Regency Bobo, Marzook are the two that have been at Chun Fa. Now, should he step well, Regency Bobo? That's the big question. He should probably lead these.
I think he will, especially with Zach on board. I don't think he'll be missing the start this time round to Regency Bobo. That was the big surprise last time out. My Darling's a horse that races prominent. Cordyceps, when the speed slackened last time out, he was able to get away from the rail and get out and get rolling, and that was certainly a key to his winning performance. Flying Victory Joe might have a couple of options, because when he has won, he's sort of raced a little bit further back than what he has mapped there, but gate 14 is not going to be easy for him.
Here is Regency Bobo, and look, as we mentioned, it was a huge run from him last start. Very consistent horse, though. He's been in the placings 21 times from his 37 starts. He moves nicely here once again, and Zach Purden will jump aboard from barrier number 5. Cordyceps did nothing wrong last time. He stepped well and he won nicely. He's up a little bit in weight there, but Vincent Ho, barrier 9 for him. You can see him, he hasn't taken a backward step either. He goes nicely here in the mornings. Flying Victory, as Brett mentioned, he won quite nicely on a good to yielding track 2 starts ago, but his 3 runs haven't been too bad, and the 1400 metres looks okay for him.
All right, well, the Trainers' Championship, Francis Lloyd, Danny Shum and Tony Cruz, all on 5 wins at the moment. We're going to focus on Cordyceps, who's trained by Francis Lloyd. We know Regency Bobo for Danny Shum had some excuses. Beauty Energy finished well down the track after being quite well specced.
Yeah, I think Regency Bobo can turn the tables here on Cordyceps. He had the perfect run, Cordyceps, and won nicely. And if we go right back to the start, this one you'll see Regency Bobo had a shocker. But look, he fought on really strongly, and he is a really strong horse. So I've got them both in the numbers. I think they can fight it out, actually.
Only concern I've got is Regency Bobo's never gone any good second up.
Different trainer now, though, so I wouldn't worry too much. Interesting that World Famous finished in between them. He's in the race before.
That he is. Let's move on to Charizard, who's developing into a nice little money spinner for connections. He's got a blistering turn of acceleration late. That was on display here at his final run in this class, where he overhauled Happy Fun, who's a subsequent winner this season already, and Fenrir, this was his debut.
I like him here, Charizard. Umberto Rispoli gets on with him well. He closed off nicely in a good barrier trial recently. His turn of foot last time out over the last 200 metres to roll over Happy Fun over the final stages, I thought was very good. If he's able to win this race, he'll take him up to one of the highest rated horses David Ferraris has got in his stable.
Yeah, 3-time winner from his 12 starts. I know you're a big fan of him and your Pikachu collection. Charizard, because Blastoise running earlier in the day.
Yeah, and he's one of your faves. I am a fan of Charizard, no doubt. And Fenrir trialled nicely going into to this performance. Flying Victory, I highlighted him in the race card. Paul looked at him in track work. Let's refresh your memory on what he did when he finished 3rd at the end of last season behind Bellagio. Prior to this, he was a nice winner, but barrier 14's a little bit icky, isn't it, on paper?
Can be icky, yep. The 14 with Flying Victory. He's got Joe Merida to offset that. I think he's got ability, this horse. His last 2 starts in particular have both been pretty well, and he's been in the market all the way through his 3 starts. I found a spot from one of mine.
Remember on debut, he went to the gates and the tongue tie came off and they couldn't get it back on. That's the only blemish to his copybook, isn't it, from the 3 starts?
Certainly is, and he was a little bit pushed out in a recent barrier trial, but I don't think there's any concern with that.
Precious Ship was quite honest in most of his efforts last season. He was just lacking that couple of lengths, maybe 3 to be in the finish, but he's had the off-season underneath his belt and he's come back with some residual fitness and a nice trial leading in.
Yeah, Ricky Hughes made a few gear changes, visor off, a crossover noseband going on over the on the first time. You can see he's just given 1 or 2 with the whip there. Matthew Poon rides here. There might have been some improvement with his 2 trials. He's won this trial and he ran 2nd in a trial before that, so maybe there's some improvement with him. Yeah,
this is his 2nd campaign, and he has hit the line strongly, I think. Andrew's made him a horse to follow at times, Precious Ship.
I'd expect him to do something this campaign. Star Majestic, an old-timer these days. but he's been a fabulous money spinner. 9-year-old, over 8.2 million in prize money. 1 win from 33 at Sha Tin.
You prefer him at Happy Valley, and as you say, he is getting on a bit in age, but like his trial was nice enough. I think there's probably helped his legs there with the all-weather.
He was held together in that trial, but yeah, Happy Valley. Last one came off 84, so he's well down on that mark at the moment.
Drawn barrier number 1, maybe one to consider if you're going wide in the exotics. Paul?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Regency Bobo to step and win this race. He was very unlucky at his last start. To beat Cordyceps, Flying Victory, and Charizard, the two coming from the back. 1, 2, 13 and 5.
Charizard on top for me, horse number 5 for David Ferraris and Umberto Rispoli to get on the board this season. Cordyceps goes in for Vincent Ho and Francis Lloyd. Ran on nicely last start to win, kept on going. I think the key to that race, he was able to get out off the rail when he required, when the pace just slightly slackened down the side. Regency Bobo, everything went wrong for him last time out, but it was a huge effort. And Flying Victory, the concern would be gate 14, what Joe opts to do with him this time round, but he does have some talent. But 5 in the last to beat 2, 1 and 13.
Yeah, I had the 1, 2 and 5 in my selections as well. I included King of Hearts, but there's a few others you could certainly throw into the mix in race number 10. Before we look at the best bets, let's have a look at the stats. And I mentioned 3 trainers all on 5 wins apiece. Tony Cruz, Francis Lloyd and Danny Schum, who's got a nice little strike rate going, Paul, and he's won the most prize money too so far.
Yeah, 27 runners he's put out already this season for 5 wins, a second and 3 thirds. So his team are flying at the moment, the win rate of 19%. Now let's have a look at his runners on a UKIP played race. Chance here, Brett, the first. Glorious Buddy is the first starter who's, I don't think he's far away. I think he'll run a reasonable race. Kobe winning method to bounce back there in race number 6. Harmony Victory is the class horse in race 7. Bethany is a bloke, just so you know. It's a gelding is Bethany. And we'll see what he can do. And a Regency Bobo there in the last, I think, can win.
All right, just before we go to the best bets for the program, Paul, the big fellow, Beauty Generation, have you seen him moseying around in the mornings?
He's been working with a partner horse most mornings and he's looking good. I tell you, a Thero looks really good as well. He looks nice, big, strong horse. And Beauty Generation will be out trotting on Tuesday.
I think Athero might be there as well, so we'll be looking forward to seeing both them, Tom.
Yep, they'll be out in action. I think we're holding some turf trials here on Tuesday morning for the big guns, so they'll be out and ready to power away.
Speaking of big guns, let's go back to Paul and get his best bet for the card, Paul.
Yeah, I'm going to go with this horse here, which is Mr. McGowan there, number 14, down the bottom. Really like this fresh up run. I think he's ready to win. Grant Van Niekerk from a low barrier or drew wide last time and ran on nicely from the back. Bloody Dream each way for him. He's should start about 11 or 12, and I really like him down the straight 1,000. He's run really well down there before. Comes in with the lightest weight too there. And Francis Lloyd, one of those trainers that are going very well. And the play will be in the first one there, Mr. McGunn's race, with Relentless Me with blinkers on and Villafon there. So 7, 9 and 14.
I'll go back to the well for the 3rd time with the Kaying Masters. So far he's delivered twice, so hopefully he can make it to 3, but he does have those breathing issues. So race 6, number 9, Kaying Master is the best. Long shot race 3, number 4, Fortunate Runner for Vincent Ho. He's pretty consistent, as you can see from his 13 starts there. Just the 1 win, but a whole lot of minor placings next to his name. Fortunate Runner, race 3, number 4. And the play comes up with Kaying Master, tying him up with Mr. Lumiere, Winning Method and Valiant Dream at a QQP.
Yep, hopefully another little fill up there for you, Tom. Shimmer and Shine from Matthew Poon. Second up onto the all-weather, I think is perfect for him. Lightweight, good barrier, a pace to run at. So race 9, number 12, Shimmer and Shine. And I'll go with Villafion. The wide barrier, I think they'll change the tactic, snag him back and let him find the line as opposed to having him on the pace last start from a good barrier. And then Falcon Turbo is my play. Banker him with Central Express Voyage King. And I think Solar Billion will go around at a big price and might just be able to sneak into the frame. Hopefully in second spot too. That'll be good for my play. Well, that's it. Saturday racing at Sha Tin. 3 on the dirt, 7 on the turf. Looking forward to it, Paul.
Yeah, it should be good. As we've highlighted throughout the card, there looks like some really good open races. Only one odds on at the moment, and that's Prince of Gems, and that came up with a big bet on Amelie.
Yeah, all right. We look forward to your company trackside Saturday at Sha Tin. See you then. Good night.